Hello and welcome to another episode of today. We're going to have the first episode in English. So I guess I'll translate the name of the show in English, which doesn't make any sense. It's a good opportunity to discuss why the name of it, which is 3 olives and a tomato. I have with me guest street artist Seth, which is my honor to have you here. I've been doing a lot of reading on you the past few days, as I like to get to know my my guests, and the honor is not just, it's double and triple. It's a very big honor to have you here.
Thank
and
you.
A very big honor to have you in Cyprus. I'm glad to have this opportunity, and the opportunity has been given by the French Institute, as I understand, which you're here on the island for work in Stróvolos municipality. And from what I understand, you're doing a piece there that you can talk to us about. And also, it's a collaboration between the French Institute, ABR, which is an organization I work at, which I'm very glad to help out. And and I want to start a bit because the first idea I got as soon as I started reading about you is I have in front of me almost the whole history of street art. I'll tell you the way I mean it. Through its changes, through its evolutions, through the years.
Yes.
Because you've been a street artist since the 90s, right?
Yes.
And you're a street artist in Paris, which...
It was not street art at this time.
It was graffiti then?
Yes.
Yes, exactly. I want to talk about that. But it was... and you have published numerous books around that idea. You have published books about France, from what I understand, graffiti, and which has evolved to street art, but also global books, yes, about global street art, from what I understand.
Yes.
So, talk to us about that a bit. You know, when did you start? First of all, where were you born? And let's find the roots of Seth.
Okay.
Do we say your full name?
Yes, Seth. Good. My real name is Julian Maland.
All right, Seth.
So, I'm born in Paris.
Okay.
51 years ago.
You don't look that old, by the way.
Thank you very much.
So, if you are looking for the key to long life, be a street artist. Okay, sorry.
I'm not sure.
Yes, okay.
And I grew up in Paris suburb.
Mm.
And I discovered graffiti in the late 80s, beginning of 90s, coming the first tags and stuff in my suburb and stuff. And I discovered this book called Subway Art, coming from New York. I think it was in 91 I saw it for the first time. So, and then I was very into all this hip hop graffiti stuff. But I was not. I was trying to do some tags and stuff, but I was not so good. And all my friends were not interested in that, so I was alone. Mm-hmm. Then I went to art school, and I met some guy doing more graffiti stuff, and I began to do and to paint with them in the 90s in Paris with a crew of graffiti writers. And I was more into drawing, so I was doing more the characters, and they were doing the letters. Mm-hmm. We were doing composition.
Okay.
So in abandoned place, and sometimes in forbidden place.
Did the crew have a name?
Yes.
Which was?
CMP.
CMP.
Committee of Parisian Mafia.
Nice. Which was a golden era for French hip hop as well, yes?
Yeah, for French hip hop, for graffiti. Paris was full of tags and graffiti and stuff, and it was there was not so much internet, so you had to go and see the stuff, take pictures. You were doing fanzine, exchanging the pictures. It was a funny years, yes.
Funny, romantic.
I don't know, but it was fun for a post-teenager.
Okay.
To do that and to discover your city and to go at night and to enter and everything like that. Yeah. And then you want the following story? What's happening?
Yes.
So I did some books. I was fan of that, and I was taking a lot of pictures. I did a book in the year 2000 about 1 year of graffiti in Paris. We chose 98, this book called Capital. So we went to see all the crew, and we did interview of them and take pictures and stuff, and we did this book that was the hit of the book about graffiti.
Okay, but that began, and because yes, of course, we jumped in 10 years later after that. But how did that change? Well, how strict was graffiti in Paris then? Was it like New York?
It was super illegal.
It was super illegal.
Super illegal and super repressive. So there was only vandal and tags, and no characters, no street art, nothing. Yeah, only vandal.
Do you think that reflected to? It was the reason why was the tags, because it was so illegal. You had to be fast.
Of course.
Yes.
It was impossible to do something.
Okay.
It was very complicated. Then, because after I went to travel all over the world, a lot in South America, and then I discovered you can paint anywhere in the street. So that's why there was so much painting, murals and stuff in South America.
Do you think the oppression, yeah, of course, but and you saw the two sides of it, which is very interesting. You see the murals in South America, but I mean, you do get some of the best graffiti artists in these main cities, which was always that illegal. Yes, I mean we see. I mean, if we talk about
because they developed this graffiti stuff. This, you know, when graffiti, I was not there, but in New York in the 70s, the city was in bankrupt total. So people were painting and doing stuff in the street. Nobody cares. They used to go in the yard. There was all in the fence. They enter and they paint all day. That was impossible in France at the beginning. Now there is more subway painted now, because I think we have more economic problem now than in the 90s. I never saw so much painted subway in my life than last year's.
And do you think, and your fast forwarding is one of the actually key questions I wanted to ask, because I have this theory of how artists, demonstrations, even now with social media, the people have the need to express themselves. And what's that? Is there an archetype, a very ancient need? Is there like an instinctive reason, you think, behind of why people through the history of mankind had the need to express themselves on walls or on caves? And you just said, is that directly related to oppression, you think, or poor people, or on crisis? Is it a way that people express themselves? Is that directly related, you think? You just said that there is more graffiti right now, yes? Do you think it's related?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure?
I'm sorry. It's going with tendencies too, because it happened in New York, I told you. Then it was imported in Europe by some rich kids going to United States and coming back to France. It was the rich who did the first graffiti in France. Okay. Very rich.
Wow.
The king of graffiti was very rich.
Wow, okay.
And then because of the hip hop and because of all the revendication, you said that in English? About the... Anyway, some people from the neighborhood were coming from poorest background because of the hip hop, because of to be a black guy in Europe was thinking it was like the black guy in the United States and stuff like that. It's going to be like rich guys, but also with people from the suburb and the neighborhood of Paris.
Were they connected together?
They were connected.
Which is very interesting.
You can see there is a lot of documentaries or movies about that. About the French, you know, we had a very big band called NTM. NTM was one of the biggest French band of rap. They were connected with this guy, Rich, doing graffiti.
Okay, all right. Very interesting. And also something that's very interesting is that, okay, so we're talking about something that did begin from the suburbs. And I will take it back to my previous question. We have seen tags of humans since the first trace of humanity in caves. Do you think, in my opinion, it's very related. You said maybe you might not agree, but I do find, I mean, people did want to leave the traces, it was always a form
because
of
the
expression.
human, we have the conscience of our existence, so we need to have storytelling to make our life useful for anything. We invent everything, religion, politics, to say, oh, I'm living for that. You need to put something. So I think the guy, they were in their cave doing nothing, and say, oh, I need to let something about my, that's all.
Okay.
We do the same.
So
We
you
are
actually,
people.
we're storytellers, and so you actually agree. It's just that I'm just always trying to say that in the forms of art.
Yeah, but after the why you do it, it comes from different stuff.
Definitely, always.
Like
so
to
context.
paint a church is something to about your religion and to express the love and you have for God, or I don't know, and stuff like that. So it's always different. But at the end, is a way to survive your death, to let something.
And the reason why I'm taking there, and I'm glad you just said that, because so we've seen this evolving and changing form through the history of mankind. If this was walls of the churches, if this was like caves, if that was called graffiti, and how that evolved into the graffiti.
It's kind of
street art.
the democratizing of art.
Democratizing of art.
Yeah, so everybody can express themselves, and the gallery is the street. It's the world. It's the world. That was that. That's why it was the biggest movement, I think, in the history of art. Biggest movement in terms of how many people did it all over the world and still do it. I was with this photographer 2 days ago, Martha Cooper, who did this book, Subway Art. Now we're good friends. And she was telling me when she took the picture of the graffiti in New York in the beginning of 80s, she did that because she was sure it will disappear. It will be only in New York at one point, at this moment, and this is the end of something. And now you can see even the city, how it is full of tags. So we don't know what's going to happen. But it's kind of a way to say to everybody, you're an artist, you can be an artist. Democratization total of art.
Also, yes, and also it's a much more approachable art. I mean, we live in the era of conceptual art, which has a lot of criticism around it, of how non-conceivable it is and not comprehensible it is. And then we have seen the graffiti evolving into street art with these amazing murals, which is so approachable to the world. It's like pop music, but the real authentic pop music that we used to have, like in the 60s and 70s, is like the type of art which is more approachable to the world. It is that. And it has evolved to that. And as a form, it has also entered huge galleries like your work and like many artists' works, which is where I want to stand at the moment. So you wrote this book. And first of all, if I found little Seth, the late 80s, and told him, you know what, Seth? The government will commission an artwork of yours. And
I say, yes, why not?
Yes, but would you ever think that would be possible?
No, of course.
Of course not.
No.
So I would say I find graffiti art evolving to street art a very hopeful type of art for us artists. I mean, I'm a musician. I mean, I started from the rave, for example, which has something related to that underground scene. But telling me like that people like governments will commission, which this happens in Paris, it happens in Switzerland, it doesn't happen in Cyprus.
But that's not street art, huh?
It's not.
When you're commissioned by someone to do a work, I don't call it like street art. I call it like urban art or mural painting or something like that. It's not.
Do you want to define
street art?
Do you want to define for us all the titles for it?
It's my conception. I don't say it's a good one.
Yeah, but what's your perception on it? So what's graffiti?
So you have the graffiti. It's write your name.
Which are the tags, for example, yes.
Tags, it evolved with something else, but it was about writing your names and your crew, and it's something we speak to other graffiti writers. It's a game, a big game. Put your name in the most spot and to do the most dangerous and to be king of that. And even the people who don't understand the letters.
Yes.
But you know the code and stuff. Then some people from the graffiti, like Banksy, the most famous, changed the game to open it to everybody. So it took it didn't took the one so much of the graffiti. It took more about the stencil stuff from the punk and the 80s and they call it brandalism, but it's another story. And then he opened it to everybody so everybody can understand.
Mm-hmm.
And then a lot of people went to this stuff, like using the graffiti tools to make art in the street for everybody. But
And
it was
that's
still
street art.
illegal.
That's street art, though, yes?
This is what I call street art, or
Yes.
post-graffiti.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't have the mayor of your city who asks you to paint a wall. It was a kind of illegal and or tolerate, but you don't ask the permission, or you don't show a sketch of what you're going to do. You want to express something. So after you have a lot of different ways. Some people want to speak about the politics. Some people just want to make money. Some people just want to put logos. Some people want a lot of different ways to, or nice image. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then after, of course, because people can understand it, begin to like it, it begins to enter the market. So you make money with it.
Does that change the title of it? If you start making money of it, does
No, I don't think it changed anything, but the perception of the people is different. The people, they like people famous and people who got money. I don't know why it's like that. As soon you're famous and you got money...
I mean, we can discuss why. It's a very simple reason.
Of course, it is
money and greediness have destroyed the world
several
times.
But in conscious, huh?
Mm-hmm.
They would say, oh, it's beautiful. Okay, but just because it's famous and make money. Andy Warhol is make money, for example. Oh, it's beautiful. Or and then what I was saying? Yes.
So the categorizing. So
yeah,
you have the graffiti,
and then
the
that's all. Now you have got a lot of people expressing themselves in the street in different way. But as soon as you have a commission and stuff like that, it's more like a mural stuff. It used to exist 100 years ago. It's not
even
new.
1,000 years ago, yes. No,
It's just the way we do it, and perhaps the aesthetic is different. But the idea is to do decoration.
What do you call? Where do you categorize street art that has entered a museum?
As soon as it's not in the street, it's not street art. It's a street artist who do something who enters the museum. It's different. But we can do it, why not?
No, I'm not criticizing anything. Yeah. It's just like a very interesting conversation and it's almost as comparing it to conservatism and liberalism, I say. So and I'll explain why, because...
But everything I say, I don't say I'm the God.
No, this is my point of view. The reason why I'm saying it's because we have this tendency in all art forms, even in music, especially in music actually, when you have the underground being commercialized or being more popular, because being commercialized means it can actually make money, of the conservative will criticize it because they can't see the evolution, because a hopeful underground will be also a successful underground that will be a bit more commercial for it to survive, but when that becomes more commercial, then it's being criticized by the conservatives. It is actually conservatives, even though politically they can be liberals. So it's the same thing. Then that's why I do, and I was reading about the 60 years of graffiti exhibition that happened in Paris that you were part of, from what I understand, and there was a lot of controversy around it, and people actually. And it was around the time that Blue, I think, started erasing his graffitis in Bologna. I think it was around the same age.
No, it was before.
It was before, yes. But this conversation began because like some big artists like Blue gave that point of view, but then Banksy did another point of view, and then this happened, and then some, which actually found a very hopeful statement that happened for the street art in Paris of how the city of Paris actually commissioned artists that they were even unknown, and they kept...
They don't really commission, huh?
No commissioning. So it was just showcasing.
Which one?
Was it just showcasing their work then?
Yeah.
Okay. How did you perceive that? Because it was actually a big event for the world and the history of street art, yes? It did come out that way globally. That's why I'm...
I take the opportunity to do stuff
that's all.
I don't... For me, the more people you will touch, the better it is. You know, for me, I try to do something. I just want to do. How can I explain? I don't go in all this stuff. the blue don't want to participate to the market and to this business. It's good for him.
Fine,
He's a pure guy. It's the purest and very good. The other one want to do everything. I like monopoly. Want to do monopoly people and make a lot of money with big star. Good for him. I don't care really. I do my stuff and I don't. No, I don't know.
Just to explain to our viewers what I'm saying here is that Blue was a very famous graffiti artist.
Blue was more street art.
More street art, yes, you're right. Street artist. He erased some of his murals in Bologna. Did he also erase the one in Berlin, I think, yes?
Yes.
Yes, which was this statement against gentrification, from what I understand. And that's the discussion we're having right now. And what happened in Paris, when did that happen, Seth?
Which one?
The exhibition that happened in Paris with all the graffiti artists. Was that like a couple of years ago?
But there was one exhibition in Paris last year.
The 60 years of
graffiti. The 60
graffiti.
years was last year.
Last year, yes. Which the municipality of Paris showcased.
Yeah.
You can explain a bit what happened? So
no, that's all. They did an exhibition about the beginning of street art that 60 years ago there was only one guy. Yeah?
Okay.
Gérard Zloty-Camia, which is one of the first who painted in the street. Yes, at this time he was the first. I think he's one of the first street artists in the way we see it now in the world. That's good that it's in Paris. And about all the evolution and stuff of so it was interesting. What I was not agree that they did a text explaining that Paris was the city of street art. That it was not true because I was in this graffiti and it was not legal to do anything. There was nothing. I was traveling around the world. There was stuff everywhere, not in Paris. But of course now they say it wasn't. But there was interesting stuff. We had a very interesting artist in Paris. We had a Space Invader beginning in Paris. GR about the picture and stuff in Paris. In graffiti, Paris was very good because there was very good artists too. Like Mod 2 was a lot in Paris too and stuff like that. So it was interesting in terms of quality, but in terms of seeing stuff everywhere in the street, no.
Okay, and last question about that, and then I want to focus on your work, okay? Which is, when do you think that switch was made? The switch of actually the municipality of Paris accepting this and being like, it's.
I think it came little by little, and I think the mayor of Paris, she likes street art. She's interested. Then there is some galleries too. We did a lot of work with the certain of municipality to make big walls and to organize big stuff. So it came little by little. And also there is some, because Paris was super hard to paint and do stuff, there is now some districts, some street you can do. Like the Anglo-Saxon countries, they all have that. They all have their little place everybody can
Brighton,
paint.
there is a lot like that, yes.
Okay. Like I remember Fitzroy in Melbourne. There was a place in San Francisco too. I don't remember the name, but now you have that a little bit in Paris too. So that's why, me, I will not say it's bad. I say, okay.
And I was talking to, because I was talking to a very good street artist here in Cyprus. And I was like, I want to he knew your work. I always discuss with locals before I get a presenter. I've been very lucky to have very good people sitting on that chair. I've been very blessed about that. And he was actually saying he had a residence in San Francisco last summer. And he was saying of how he gave it also another name. He said, it just looks a bit like decoration rather than passing on political messages. Because street art actually does cover a lot of political messages. And I think your work, you have managed to create a consistency these beautiful pieces that all somehow is the conceptual aspect of things. So when does something become a mural and decorative, and when does something even commissioned has the concept behind it, which is an endless conversation of art, for example. And that takes me to my next question, which is the context of a graffiti art, of a street artist. And you are a person who works very well under context, and it's very visible through your work.
I try.
You try? Do you want to talk about that? Because it's something that you state into your text, from things that I've read. What's your approach into the context? Like your process to the...
I think the context is everything, and it's half of the work. Because I don't paint on a white canvas, so I paint somewhere. So of course I need to use what's around. I don't take a wall like some people do it, but I'm not a good painter, so I can't do it. So I use that there is already something on the wall, the architecture, the political context, social context, what I'm going to live there, and the people who live in the place. So I take all that in consideration and try to do something that fits in all this, with my vocabulary, with what I invented with the time, this little boy or girls, you don't see the face, and yeah. So the context is very important. This is the only stuff interesting in street art, I think. If you don't use the context, stay in your studio.
I completely agree with you. And you use these characters, these young boys and girls, and there is something really emotional about those images. Every time you see that, there is the way I perceived it, because I saw numerous of your work previous days as well, and somehow it relates to those forgotten dreams, those destroyed dreams that we all lost somewhere on the way. Yes. I don't want to be wrong. I am very emotional with my childhood, and that's why I talk like that. Mm-hmm. But it was very emotional. The work, I do find the work very touching, you know. Mm-hmm. And how did these characters end up? Was it from the beginning?
No.
How did that evolve to that? That's a very interesting story.
It comes with traveling a lot. I did travel a lot. Huh? I did paint about in like 50 countries, different countries. So it's a lot. And it came little by little. And one day I did this girl, I remember, in Indonesia. It was in a village. I did paint with some of the girls who were living around. The village had been destroyed by a volcano eruption a few months before. And I did this girl with no face and sitting on the ground, and everything was destroyed behind. And one of the girls I was painting with told me, we don't know if she's happy or if she's sad, but I think she will get up and she will build again her village. So she put all in an history with this character with no face. And I thought to myself, it's a good concept to make the people think about what the characters think or what they're doing and how they are, or if perhaps it's her, she was seeing herself in this character. Yes. So I would have done a face to would be completely different. Also, it's a way to, when you paint on a wall, you don't ask the permission to everybody. So I don't want to impose an image. I like that the people put little bit of themselves in the image, like complete what I'm doing. And it's like a collaboration work. So I don't put message to. I'm not like Banksy with a little message, stuff like that. I try to have a different way to understand the painting, and no face. And this child, because I was painting also in complicated places because of the political or war or it's destroyed. I don't know. So I wanted to make a contrast between the world, the destruction and the craziness of the world, and this kind of innocence of childhood. We still got a little bit of hope too, resilience, because children got much more resilient than adults. Mm-hmm. And that was.
It does. It does reflect a lot, and of course, we cannot relate to a child. Mm-hmm. And it
speaks to child and it speaks to adult. Mm-hmm. Also, I did paint in a lot of countries. You have a lot of child everywhere. We don't have anymore in Europe. But if you go to Asia, to Africa, there is child everywhere. The street.
Yes.
So I don't want to shock the people. I don't want to. Also, if you want to speak to the people who live in the place you paint, you need to have something that they can understand or think they understand very quickly, not to be too complicated and too shocking. Also, if you want to have to put some ideas or stuff like that, you have to be soft in the way you do it. If you do like super hardcore and stuff, you will speak only the people who think the same thing than you. If you want to speak to everybody and to be a bit subtle. You have to do it in a nice way. Because before I was not doing that at all. I was doing the very kind of hardcore stuff.
But what did you really want to communicate with that girl in Indonesia? Was it your way of supporting them?
It was a way of, it was a collaboration work, like I told you. I was doing the character, they were doing the clothes. Because there they do batik, it's printing.
Yes, yes.
It's the region of this stuff, and they were doing all the stuff. It was a way to reappropriate the village to them that was destroyed, because they were not living anymore here. They were living in a refugee camp a few kilometers away.
Okay.
And it was forbidden to live there because they should have another eruption stuff. But now I've been there 7 years after, and they rebuilt the house, and the painting is still there. So I saw some of the painting on the external wall, completely destroyed. Now it's inside the house.
Oh, wow.
You enter in the living room and you have the painting. So it was interesting.
But is that the intention, though? The reason why you create these images? Because you have a lot of political work as well. And is the intention to bring hope into these political situations? Is it
no?
No? Or is it just your, your expression?
I try to be most of the time positive in what I'm doing with the child and stuff. I don't do dramatic stuff. Even if you understand in another way, you can see the dramatic stuff of it. So I don't know if I want to give hope. I want to open doors or space, and I have different topics in what I'm doing. I can speak about the traditional culture that is disappearing. I can speak about the imagination of the people who is disappearing because of our iPhone or stuff like that. I can speak about the political stuff. So I have different topics, and I try to play with all that.
Okay, very interesting. So you have the work, and you've done this in 50 countries, and from what I've seen, the only thing I will disagree with you from seeing your work is that it is very hopeful, and it is very emotional every time. I will bring that again, because I saw the work you did of the little girl carrying the Ukrainian flag.
Oh, yeah. But this one, this is the only one, I think, who got an ID.
Okay.
Direct. Because I did that 2 days after the invasion for my friend who live in Kiev, and I wanted to show them my support.
Okay.
But most of the time I don't do direct image like that with a message.
Okay. And how many days have you been here in Cyprus? You just came today? When did you come to Cyprus?
Yesterday.
Yesterday?
Yes.
Did you walk a bit around to see if there's any... Did you get a perception of the...
I see a lot of tags in the streets, graffiti, but I didn't see a lot yet. I see some of the painting, but I need more time.
Definitely, definitely. And I can give you a small perception of my perception of that, which is very interesting, is I would say 98% of all graffiti in Cyprus is based on football matches.
Oh, okay.
And it's very lame, okay? It's very bad, it's very lame. It's like really stupid. It's like, has nothing to say. It's just like one team dissing the other team and that team dissing the other. And it has been like this since the 1950s, I would say. Because the most...
But you have that all over the world, huh? In Roma, you have the same. In Napoli, in South America, you have kind of tifosi graffiti writers. I don't know how many teams you have in Nicosia. Only one team?
In Nicosia, we have at least 3, which are in the first
because this
league.
happens when you have more than one team in the city, because they fight.
Yes,
so they do
fight.
the competition with the walls.
Yeah, because actually in Cyprus...
That we don't have in Paris. Paris only one team, so...
Okay. Now, actually, the whole politics in Cyprus is based on the football teams. So fascism in Cyprus was born from the right-wing team of Nicosia, and the tolerance of it has, and I'm not exaggerating right now, gave the first party in the last elections, which is the fascist party. And it grew out from a football team. Okay. And that's when the last time I watched football in Cyprus, because it was so political that it actually brings so eccentric and radical ideas, which have, of course, have very negative influences into the world, which I find very stupid. The reason why I'm asking, we have a very a very intense political situation here in Cyprus, of course. And did you read about Cyprus when you were
a little bit?
Little bit. Is the mural we'll see from you? Is it influenced at all by this?
The mural what?
The art piece you're doing now for Stróvolos and the
French
Institute. Is it influenced? Do you want to talk about us? Do you want to talk to us about it a little bit?
A little bit.
A little bit.
I'm doing kids with no face.
Okay.
As always. But they are on a horse. You know the horse. How you call that? The horse for the children when you play.
Trambala is the balance. Yes.
Yeah.
The balance.
But the horse got two heads.
Which has 2 heads?
The horse there is 2 heads on both sides. It's not like a horse with the tail and the head.
It's a horse. Heads. A horse.
A double horse.
Okay, double horse. All right.
And 2 kids looking different direction and playing with the horse.
Shit.
And there will be some element. Then after you can imagine the story you want. I don't know.
Did you see something particular that influenced your work, or is it just like?
I think the island is a bit divided. No.
It is. No, a little bit, quite a lot, yes. And it's getting more divided as we speak.
But you are on the same horse. You are on the same island, so.
I completely agree with you, of course. And I'm glad you say that. And I do hope that people can associate with that, because how is the situation there? I mean, from what I understand, we've been having some trouble, yes, about the licensing of this work.
I don't know.
You don't know?
It's not my problem. I just paint.
Okay. So we have a painter.
But I think now everything is clear. We can paint the wall.
But it's interesting. It's just interesting. It's not like we're criticizing anyone. It's just like this misconception and of how when there isn't a culture behind something, you need to explain to someone of why something is important. You need to explain why art is important we're a very young country when we were created in the 1960s. And
yeah, but like I told you, in France, it just happened a few years ago. Before they were not really interested in that kind of stuff too. Now everybody wants his festival, everybody wants his murals, everything. But before it was not. So it comes little by little. And people will see 1 word, 2 words, oh, we like it, oh, we want more, and after it will spread. I don't know if it's good or bad, but it's like that all the time.
So if we, as we said before, if I found Seth, little Seth, in late 1990s, and I told him this was going to happen by the 2024, people will be commissioning street artists all the time. Is there a prediction where this is going?
No.
But
me, I didn't think I will do that in my life. I just wanted to travel. I travel. I know the best thing I do is painting. So I do some painting. And I already like the way of painting in the street. So because you're not in a studio doing your stuff, you paint in the reality on the world, on the real world. But that the people would like it or stuff, I would not imagine, because for me it was just a hobby, to paint. It was not. I was doing something else. I have another job.
You do have another job?
Yeah, for years I was not living about that. I was doing.
Do you want to tell us what it was?
I was drawing, but not for money, like comics, cartoon, advertisement.
So you're an
books,
illustrator? Are you an illustrator?
Yeah, I was an illustrator. I did some comics for. But the people tell me, okay, take this style. I was doing the style. I have the techniques to do. I used to have the techniques. I don't know now. But so I was living about that for years.
So it was always around art. Your life was
and then I
did
a book I did a book in 2007 because I did a world tour in 2003, and I did paint with a lot of people all around the world. And I did a book telling about this story, like travel books. Nobody did that before. And production guy from working with TV saw it, and then they hired me to do that for TV for 5 years. So I've been to 15 countries, and they were following me and meeting the artists, painting with them, explaining the situation, blah, 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 blah. That's how I began to live about my hobby.
So that was on TV?
Yeah, it was in French TV.
Okay, so you had your own show as well?
I had a show for, yeah.
Cool.
Yes.
And it's very interesting because usually when I meet street artists, they're very lonely people. They usually work alone. It's very.
I work alone.
You work alone, but you've had collaborations, yes?
Ah, of course. Why not?
And also, I've seen part of your work, which is very interesting, which is the educational aspect. You have worked with kids, education.
Oh, yeah, I like to do stuff like that.
Why do you think that's important?
Because I think for them, you go in certain country, culture, where they never let the kid express themselves. Like in Europe, oh, what do you want? Oh, draw me something, you're a genius. Some country, they don't care, but the kids go take the water and bring home. And so it's interesting to make them do that. Mm-hmm. For them, it's an exercise new. And so I have some exercise now. I ask for the kids like to draw themselves. I do a silhouette of their head, and they have to draw their dream, to do a portrait of themselves without doing their face, what they got in the head, and explaining it and stuff. So I do stuff like that, and I also do some collaborative walls with them. So I was in Kenya. I did that 3 months ago.
3 months ago. How long did you stay?
2 weeks.
2 weeks? Mm-hmm. And you work with the kids at schools?
In a school and in a slum.
Nice. What did you get out of that? I mean, of course, these are very intense.
It fit me because I like to do that. They're happy, I'm happy, so everybody's happy.
Of course. Is that something that you see?
I need that because if I'm always lost in the market and the commission world and stuff like that, I get crazy. So I need to see directly on the kids and the people I paint with the result of my painting. And when you do that, you see it directly. You feel a good energy, you know?
So dear Seth, do you think that the educational aspect, which is of course as artists, and I say that from my point of view as well, I just feel like I can associate as well. As an artist, that you have perceived the world the way you have perceived it and the way you have expressed yourself, and now you're educating other kids of how to express the kids. Is that the next step of Seth, you think? No, I mean, at least continuing this pattern in the next years.
I don't know what I'm going to do.
You don't know what you're going to do. You just want to paint.
No, no. I don't like to paint. It's super boring to paint.
Okay.
I like to it's to paint.
I think we have it on camera. That's what you said before.
Like to paint for me.
This guy's gonna get me crazy here.
No,
please
but
let him tell me, Seth.
Painting is horrible. You have your hand dirty. It's hot. Yeah. No. What is nice is to live moments. For me, it's a pretext to go somewhere and to meet some people and to drink good coffee. And to have good different food from another country, and to share moments, and to discover, and to be curious. And okay, I like sometimes I like to paint, but it's not the principal stuff. The principal stuff is the whole pack, you know. I'm not the kind of guy or girl who have a goal, okay, and you want to be the goal, and everything around is. No, it's I like to leave the old stuff. That's why I don't like to paint big walls. Like I'm going to paint a big wall. For me, it's very painful. It's like it's torture. Like it will be hard. I'm on a parking lot. Every day I will go to the same place. But I'm invited to do that. I will do the best I can. But I like to do little walls, to go around and to look for places and to see, oh, this house is like that, and I can tell this story with this house about my perception of this place and stuff, and to do. That's very interesting.
Nice.
That's what I did in Hong Kong 2 months ago. From Kenya, I went after I've been to Hong Kong, and I loved it. I found some little walls, and I did some little paintings, and you have to find the ID, because the painting is a bit boring, but what is good is the ID. When you found the idea of what will fit on this place. This is the most important. Because for me, what I like is to find to do a strong image with impact, with the less material or the less stuff. Yeah,
that's the moment, and I usually ask this question to artists previously on the podcast as well. And I will ask it for you in a different way, but that's the moment of conception, the moment that idea sparks. Yeah. Is that consciously or subconsciously?
It depends. No, it's both.
But it always feels good, yes?
Normally when you're looking, okay, for example, for here, they give me the image of the wall, and I read a little bit about the situation of the country and stuff, and I found this idea. But it didn't come. For months, I didn't have any idea. And then I see a sculpture of a guy with a fake horse with 2 people on it. I say, I have to find this idea for the wall in Cyprus. This is perfect. I change, of course, I did, but it's like that. So when you're looking for an idea for something, for a place or something like that, your brain is always in alert, like need, even if you do something else, and then you will find something and say, oh, yeah.
There it is.
But this is the best moment.
Yes.
I like to be in the shower too. When you take a shower, you have a lot of ideas. When you do cycling, a lot of ideas. But when you are at your desk like that, no, it will never come.
I've had $1 billion idea, which is a water marker, which is waterproof, that goes into your shower so you can write your ideas down.
Yeah.
We can.
Okay.
We can do it together if you want.
But there is some. You have to be. I don't know. In a good situation, in a good way, and the idea will come. But yeah, most of the time it's okay. I have and sometimes like Hong Kong. So the guy, I arrived at night. We went we did the tour of the possible wall to do pack, and the morning I do all the drawings. I took the picture. I do the sample, pam, and it's okay.
Wow, cool.
But this is the good moment for me. The best moment is the idea.
Seth, it has been an honor. Like every episode, I choose a record to show to the audience. This time I chose a
nice cover.
Yes,
super nice cover.
It's the Balaphonics, a band that I have deep in my heart, that have actually really helped influence the world music in Cyprus through the festival that we've been organizing every year. That happens, it's actually happening in the next days on the 4th of July. If you're in Cyprus, stick around, it will be nice. And I really love them. We have a good connection. We even wrote a song together called Unification, which was based on we actually recorded it in the festival. So yeah, I always say hello to these guys, and they have a very special place in my heart. Take a listen to their album, and it has been a pleasure, my honor.
Pleasure for me
I'm
too.
glad to have you in Cyprus. Can't wait to see the result. And we'll be near the municipality of Stróvolos. Thank you once more. See you at the next episode.